The year is 1888, and my job is to count people. Not in a hey neighbor way, but in a soul crushing tide of paperwork is drowning me kind of way. I'm a clerk for the US Census Bureau. The last census, the one for 1880, took almost 8 years to tally by hand. And with the country's population booming, the 1890 census was projected to take 13. 13 years. We'd literally be starting the 1900 census before we finish the one from the decade before. Our boss, a man whose mustache seemed to permanently sag with the weight of the nation's data, was in a quiet panic. Our hands were stained with ink, our backs ached, and our dreams were just endless rows of tick marks on massive ledger sheets. It was the government's biggest, most existential data problem. Then this guy shows up, Herman Hollerith. He used to work at the Bureau, and most of the old-timers remembered him as an intense, quiet inventor. He rolls in not with a better pen or a bigger ledger, but with a machine. It looked like a piano had a baby with a spider, a big oak desk, a press with a grid of pins hanging from it, and a wall of 40 clock-like dials. We all just sort of stared. His idea was so weird, it felt like a joke. He told us to forget the tick marks. Instead, we'd use a ticket punch. You know, like the ones train conductors use. We take each person's census data and punch it onto a stiff paper card. A hole here meant male, a hole there meant born in Ohio, a hole in a different spot meant is a blacksmith. It felt like we were making confetti for a very boring party. But then, he took a stack of the punched cards and fed one into his machine. He lowered the press, and the metal pins dropped onto the card. Wherever there was a hole, a pin passed through, dipped into a tiny cup of mercury, and completed an electrical circuit. Click, clack, whir. Across the room, one of the clock dials ticked forward. 1. He had just read and tallied one person's entire data set and the time it took us to find the right column on a page. The whole room was dead silent. Then the question started. Someone shouted, "How many married women are there under 30?" Hollerith sorted the cards with a different machine, a sorter box, ran the new stack through, and bam, the machine had the number in minutes. We went from data drones to absolute data wizards. We could cross-reference anything. The 1890 census wasn't finished in 13 years. It was done in one. Hollerith's little tabulating machine company did pretty well for itself. A few mergers and a name change later, it became IBM. All because a group of overworked clerks needed a way to escape being buried alive by paper. It's the origin story of big data, and it was born out of pure, unadulterated laziness, or as we call it today, efficiency.